First of all, I would like to, on behalf of Minister, I took the Minister this morning to go to Parliament for the inauguration of a new king from there. There's a lot of things happening now in the government. I also want to commend, first of all, I want to commend the Chief Operating Officer, the directors, for having this very, very important planning document for the entire PNG Forest Authority. Before I go to the prepared speech, I also want to take this opportunity to commend and thank all of you, for those of you who graced the welcome of our Commander-in-Chief, Prime Minister, James Marabe, Monday last week. After the meeting, we had another discussion regarding our budget and our revenue generation plan. The Prime Minister was very, very happy, very keen to address us and also to get a copy of our budget and our revenue generation plan. And the copy was presented to the advisory group that's currently advising Prime Minister on revenue generation for the economic sector in this what I call the 100 days plan as we progress towards to generate revenue and take back PNG. Before I start, I also want to say thank you to our director, Mr. Tambiskai, for coordinating this event. Very, very important event. Without any plans or plans of operation, we all will be lost, completely lost. We will be operating on an ad hoc basis. So this is a very, very important plan for us. In any operations you go, you must have a strategic plan for operation. Every plan is very, very important. You cannot just operate without any plan in a big organization like this, in the forestry sector, and a very crucial economic sector in the country. So I would like to, first of all, go to my speech. At the outset, I'm pleased to witness you all here in this workshop. It's my pleasure to address you all. I welcome all the participants in this workshop. I will not stress on the National Forest Development Program, as the director, Mr. Kaib, and Ms. Margaret Tongo will emphasize on that after my speech. I will now emphasize the importance of this document to the National Forest Plan. As all of you may be aware, the executive management, with the assistance of the managers, have been trying to unfold the National Forest Plan. The National Forest Plan has undergone a number of reviews. However, due to a number of reasons, one being the implementation of the National Forest Inventory, the National Forest Plan was never finalized or endorsed by the board. The latest revised version being the 2012 version, which was not accepted for endorsement. The first and the only official National Forest Plan was endorsed in 1996. That was 26 years ago from today. The endorsement for a successive submission was never been more important. I am very adamant that the succeeding National Forest Plan be endorsed before the end of 2022. This review is shared by stakeholders, international partners, NGOs, learning institutions, and all who are part of the parcel of forestry sector. The government through the Prime Minister have shown a keen interest in the sector, as Prime Minister mentioned a number of times in the speeches. We have to produce results, and the outcome of this workshop will put us a step closer to achieving that. The National Forest Plan has many moving parts that must come together to ensure fulfillment. The National Forest Development Program is one of those established components. Let's work together to finalize this document before it is operated to the board for its endorsement. I cannot emphasize the importance of this plan, but I just want to get your support on this plan. Since I took over as the acting managing director, I have heard and also have read also, there's a critics that PNG Forest Authority does not have a plan of operation. It does not have a national plan, it does not have a forest provincial plan. So after my confirmation, I embark on getting the plan done, not from the critics from outside, but from the knowledge and the experience that each and one of you had, and also for my vision to drive PNG Forest Authority going into a new dimension, the new paradigm shift. And that is the plan that we're going to work on today and finalize that plan immediately. Without a plan, PNG Forest Authority will be completely lost. It will go back another 10 years backwards. So as we progress our corporate plan and our strategic plans, we are now building a new forestry sector, a completely new forestry. I can stand here and say that this forestry that you and I are going to build is completely new from the days of the past managing director, the past board, and past whoever they were before. This is a new forestry we are moving forward. And that has been reflected in our corporate plan. And in the corporate plan, a copy that I have here, you will see that in the core functions of the corporate plan, I think point number 2, it stated clearly that we must have a national forest plan. It is very, very important. It's reflected upfront in our corporate plan. We must have a revised forestry plan. And that must be approved by the board, and that must go to National Executive Council for approval. Forestry as an economic sector, a very important economic sector, must have this plan immediately. Without this plan, we will never know what's our total resource in this country. And our budget, our strategic plan will be distorted, completely distorted. We are working on ad hoc. There is no system in place. So in order for us to get our budget, our strategic plan, even going down to downstream processing, even look at state marketing options and all that, we must have this plan. So we know how much resource we have. As the Prime Minister said already, what is our total value of our forest in this country? The volumes and all this information, we don't have it. So before we start on any strategic plans or anything like that, we must have this National Forest Plan approved by NEC. Then we have all other plans that cascade down to the provincial level. So I urge everyone, especially all the directors, managers, to put your minds together. Think outside of your normal thinking. Think outside of the normal what they call the thinking box now. Wear different caps. If you have knowledge about certain things that you want to put it in, let's put it in this National Forest Plan. Put some mechanisms in there, how we're going to manage our resources. How can we do a national accounting system of our forest resource in this country? We have been operating on a satellite accounts been weaved in ad hoc, and then we tried to put it on a national account, it never worked. So we have to look at other form of forestry as well. I'm talking about a national account in forestry in terms of the economics of it. You run a different accounting system in a national forest system. Not similar to oil and gas in mining, in fisheries, but you apply a natural resource economics and accounting system in a national forest based on the plans that you have. And you can do an accounting of your total resource. And we can run the whole country, and the entire country, based on our forest resource. If we do a proper accounting system based on a national plan, we can run the entire nation. We can run it. We can run it through biodiversity, carbon trade, our water system. Those are the ecosystem services that we can put into our national forest plan, not only on timber alone. That's what I'm saying. You must think outside of your normal thinking. Don't look at the forest inventory, look at the timber. No, can look at the timber that's only that is our national accounts. No, God. I want to challenge all of you. Think about the natural economics, the value of the forest, the aesthetic value of the forest. Come up with a national forest plan. That's why I'm here. I want to encourage you. I'm here not to talk about timber only. I came here purposely to talk about the national accounts of the entire forestry resource in this country. My colleague, Guril Amos, talks about how forests can generate water, and it's correct. We have forgotten the value of water in all our accounting system in our natural forest system. It is a product of our forest system. I am not here only to talk about trees only. I want you to think outside what you call the total account of a national forest, what you call the green economy. The green economy, the green accounting system covers the entire forest. And we must have a forest plan that not only covers, not the forest only. I am thinking outside, and I want to challenge you to think outside and include the other aspects of our forest resource in the country. So we get those accounts, whether it's a satellite account or a total national accounts, we give it to the board to endorse. And I can take it to NEC, and I can justify to NEC, to inform them that we can do a national accounts based on our forestry. Our GDP can be based on our national accounts in forestry, and we can run with it. So I want you to look at the water system, the ecosystem services, look at the carbon accounting aspect of our national forest plan, and put it together. This is an opportunity to include all those aspects in it. But we can, later on, we can develop specific accounts for the ecosystem services that we have. So we have to move away from the normal timber thinking now. We have to start looking at the total entire forest planning system in the country. That's all I want to put it to you, my directors. I want you to think outside of the normal thinking. Think international, think about what's happening in Australia. They don't have the resource like us, but they have an accounting system, national account system, that includes their biodiversity, their water system in the national forest inventory, in the national plan. So I want us to think along that. If it is too challenging for all of us, then we can leave it, but we should mention somewhere in our national forest plan that we will look into those accounts later. I call it accounts because those assets, the assets that we have, we can do accounting of those assets that we have and do some accounting for the country and tell the Prime Minister and tell everyone that we're not only in timber only. We can generate revenue from our water system. We can generate revenue from our carbon accounting system. We can allocate one of our concessions for purely on carbon accounting and carbon trading. So these are kind of thinking that we must change forest planning. When people get a plan, they will think that it's only on forestry, but they will be surprised that we also talk about the entire ecosystem services and the entire forest services. But we emphasize on our core function, on forestry, on timber, the resource we have, but we must associate or link it to other ecosystem services that forests can provide. That is the challenge that I'm here. I want to inform you. I wouldn't have come. I know you will discuss those issues, but I want to come and give you some other thoughts that look at the whole entire forest, not in timber only, but look at other ecosystem service or the environment service our forests can provide, and do an accounting on that part as well, or inventory on that part as well, and then we can provide some figures, and we can expound it later. After NEC has approved it, the entire plan, then when we conduct our forestry act review, we will include some of those in the Forestry Act later on. But we must have a plan first, then we can do the accounting of this plan. Why I'm saying this purposely? Because we must have those in our plan. If you don't have it in our plan, how can we implement it? How can I justify it later on? If the plan is for another 10 years, I don't want to do another plan again. We have to include it now, and then we move forward. Somewhere we must include it. And in addition to that, I have talked to PM and I have talked to the Minister that with your concurrence, with your assurance, I'm putting an energy submission to remove REDD Plus under the Paris Agreement, Article 1 to 1216. Under the Paris Agreement, the REDD Plus, we will move into forestry as part of the NEC decision, and I know it's a bit of shock for climate change, but we will put it through, and then we will remove it and put it under our National Forest Plan. So that's why I'm talking about all these entire ecosystem services, including carbon trading, and it should be included in the plan. But it's a bit of challenge, and I want the directors to think along that line. If you need someone to come and assist, do a bit of number and all that, let us know, we can do that, because it must be our plan. A completely new plan altogether before time you blow its law plan. I want something new, completely new in our National Forest Plan. Climate change, they will put it in their plan and submit to NEC. I've talked to William Lakai, they have their own plan, they will put it to NEC for their approval. But we must have our plan, because in the Forestry Act review, we are also including carbon trade in the Act. We don't want to put a plan and a letter in the Act that's conflicting. So just thinking along that line and include it in line with our Forestry Act review. With that, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, my colleagues, directors. I will excuse myself and leave, but I just want to leave your thoughts here. Your thoughts must be thinking that forestry is not trees. Forestry is about the entire ecosystem services that we have, including our people, the resources. When you do the planning, the important thing is how our landowners gonna participate in this whole planning process. The provincial government, as the Prime Minister said, he wants to go down to district level, the provincial government and the landowners. How do we include them in our planning? Thank you.